You're about to realize that everything you thought you knew about our planet is only the surface, literally. Because the world beneath our feet, above our heads, and all around us is far stranger than anything in a movie. There are rivers that can boil you alive, continents that sank into the ocean and stayed hidden for millions of years, deserts that used to bloom with life, and lakes that bleed red like they're alive. For decades, scientists thought many of these places were myths stories told by explorers and tribes. But one by one, the myths turned out to be real. A river that cooks, a crater that's been burning for half a century, an entire country that could disappear before this century ends. This isn't science fiction. This is our world, right now. And today we're uncovering 50 geography facts so bizarre, so mind-bending, and so completely real that they'll make you question everything you learned in school. By the time we're done, you'll see Earth for what it really is, not just a planet, but a living machine. Restless, unpredictable, and still full of secrets waiting to be found. So grab your seat, because once we start, you won't believe where we end up. Fact 1: the river that boils everything alive. Deep in the Amazon rainforest of Peru flows a river so hot, it can literally cook you alive. Locals call it Shinari Tempeshka, meaning boiled with the heat of the sun. This river stretches nearly 4 miles, with water temperatures reaching close to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, almost at the boiling point. Anything that falls in, a leaf, a frog, even a bird, dies instantly. The mystery? There's no volcano anywhere near it. Scientists once thought it was only a legend until geologist Andres Russo risked his life to see it himself. He discovered geothermal water heated deep underground, rising straight through the jungle floor. It's the only known boiling river on Earth, a deadly, steaming reminder that this planet hides fire in unexpected places. Fact 2: the lost continent beneath the Pacific. Imagine a continent almost twice the size of India, and yet 94% of it lies underwater. This is Zealandia, Earth's hidden continent. Millions of years ago, it was part of a giant landmass connected to Australia. Then, slowly, it broke away and sank beneath the ocean around 85 million years ago. Today, only the tops of its mountains, New Zealand and New Caledonia, are visible above the waves. Scientists didn't officially recognize it as a continent until the year 2017. For centuries, it was right there under our noses, unseen and unknown. Fact 3: the fire that never dies. In the deserts of Turkmenistan burns a crater that locals call the door to hell. Back in 1971, Soviet engineers were drilling for natural gas when the ground collapsed, creating a massive pit. To prevent the gas from spreading, they set it on fire, assuming it would burn for only a few days. That was more than 50 years ago. The flames are still burning today, a pit of eternal fire glowing in the middle of the desert night. No one can extinguish it. It's a man-made accident turned into one of nature's most haunting spectacles. Fact 4: the river beneath the sea. Under the dark waters of the Black Sea flows a real river, complete with banks, waterfalls, and rapids, but it's entirely underwater. It's formed when dense, salty water from the Mediterranean Sea slips below the lighter Black Sea water, carving a deep path through the seabed. If this underwater current existed on land, it would be the 6th largest river on Earth by volume. It's proof that nature doesn't stop inventing, even in places where sunlight never shines. Fact 5: the Blood Waterfall of Antarctica. At the base of Taylor Glacier in Antarctica, a crimson waterfall gushes from the ice. Scientists call it blood falls. It isn't blood, it's salt water rich in iron that's been trapped beneath the glacier for millions of years. When it finally escapes and touches oxygen, the iron rusts and turns blood red. Inside that sealed water, scientists found living microbes, creatures that survive with no sunlight and almost no oxygen. They've been alive in isolation since long before humans walked the Earth. If life can survive there, maybe it can survive on other frozen worlds too. Fact 6: the town that lives in one building. In Alaska, there's a town where nearly every resident lives under the same roof. It's called Whittier. About 200 people share a 14-story building that contains homes, a post office, a grocery store, a school, a church, and even a police station. The structure was built during World War II as a military base, and when the soldiers left, civilians moved in. During the long, brutal winters, people can go weeks without stepping outside. It's an entire town inside one building, small, warm, and perfectly adapted to survive the cold. Fact 7. The cave with its own weather. In Vietnam, there's a cave so big it could hold a 40-story skyscraper. It's called Sun Dune Cave. It stretches for more than 3 miles and is tall enough to have its own clouds, rivers, and even forests growing inside. When sunlight shines through giant openings in the ceiling, trees grow in the patches of light. Mist from underground streams condenses into clouds that actually form rain. Discovered by a local farmer in the early 1990s and explored fully in 2009. This cave is a world within a world, alive, untouched, and still revealing its secrets. Fact 8. The waterfall that flows upward. Along Ireland's cliffs of Moher, storms create a mind-bending illusion. When Atlantic winds roar past 100 miles per hour, they hit the cliffs so hard that the waterfalls are blown backward, rising upward instead of falling down. For a few surreal moments, gravity seems to reverse itself. It also happens in the Faroe Islands and parts of Iceland. It's nature's way of saying, physics can wait until the storm is over. Fact 9. The mirror of the sky. High in Bolivia lies Salar de Uyuni, the largest salt flat on Earth. During the rainy season, a thin layer of water turns it into a perfect mirror. It reflects the sky so clearly that it's impossible to tell where heaven ends and Earth begins. From space, it looks like a sheet of glass the size of a small country. NASA even uses it to calibrate satellites, because it's one of the flattest surfaces ever measured. Beneath the glittering salt lies another treasure: enormous deposits of lithium, the metal used in batteries that power everything from smartphones to electric cars. This place isn't just stunning, it's powering the future. Fact 10. The mountain that keeps growing. Mount Everest isn't standing still. Every single year, it grows about 4 millimeters taller. That's because the Indian tectonic plate is still pushing north into the Eurasian plate, forcing the Himalayas higher and higher. This collision started more than 50 million years ago, and it hasn't stopped. The tallest mountain on Earth is still climbing, slowly but relentlessly. It's living proof that our planet is constantly changing beneath our feet. Fact 11. The lightning capital of the world. In Venezuela sits a lake that lights up the sky more than anywhere else on Earth. It's called Lake Maracaibo. For most of the year, thunderclouds gather where warm trade winds collide with the cool air from the Andes Mountains. The result is an endless storm. Lightning strikes here for roughly 260 nights every year, sometimes flashing 28 times per minute. The phenomenon, called the Catombo lightning, is so consistent that sailors have used it for navigation for centuries. It's the planet's most reliable natural light show. Fact 12. The place that never sleeps or sets. In the town of Longyearbyen on Norway's Svalbard Islands, the sun behaves like it's broken. For months at a time, it never sets, shining day and night during summer. Then, without warning, it disappears completely for the long polar winter. For nearly 4 months, residents live in total darkness. It's a constant battle against seasonal extremes, but the people who live there say you get used to it. They even celebrate the first sunrise of spring as a local holiday. Fact 13. The coldest inhabited place on Earth. Deep in Siberia lies the village of Oymyakon, where winter temperatures can drop below -70 degrees Fahrenheit. Car engines must run non-stop or they'll freeze solid. Eyelashes frost in minutes and ink can freeze inside pens. Yet, people live here year-round, farming, fishing, and surviving in conditions colder than some parts of Mars. It's not a temporary research base, it's home. Fact 14. The desert that was once paradise. 10,000 years ago, the Sahara Desert wasn't a desert at all. It was green, covered in lakes, grasslands, and rivers that supported hippos, crocodiles, and thriving human civilizations. Scientists call this period the African humid phase. But a shift in Earth's orbit slowly changed rainfall patterns, drying out the land. Within a few thousand years, paradise turned into the world's largest hot desert, a stark reminder that even entire climates can change dramatically over time. Fact 15. The gravity hole of Canada. Around Hudson Bay in Canada, gravity is slightly weaker than anywhere else on Earth. Satellites even record a measurable dip in the planet's gravitational pull there. Scientists believe it's because massive glaciers once pressed down on the land during the last ice age, depressing the crust. As the ice melted, the ground began to rise back up, but the gravity hasn't fully recovered. It's a permanent dent in Earth's invisible field. In Russia, scientists once tried to dig to the center of the Earth, or as close as possible. The Kola super-deep borehole reached a depth of more than 40,000 feet, about 7.5 miles down, making it the deepest human-made hole ever created. Temperatures reached 356 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to soften rock like plastic. They discovered microscopic fossils of ancient plankton buried miles beneath the surface, proving that life existed in these rocks billions of years ago. Eventually, the heat forced them to stop drilling. Fact 17: the town with only one person. In Nebraska, there's a place called Minowi Population 1. Its only resident, Elsie Eiler, is the mayor, librarian, and bartender, all at once. She pays taxes to herself, grants her own liquor license, and runs the only tavern in town. Visitors stop by just to meet her and sign the guest book. Minowi is officially recognized as an incorporated town, making Elsie the entire government. Fact 18: the country bigger than the moon. Australia's width from east to west spans about 2,500 miles, while the moon's diameter measures around 20,160 miles. That means you could fit the entire moon inside Australia and still have room to spare. When astronauts look down at that massive continent, they're seeing something wider than the moon itself. Fact 19: the flattest nation on Earth. The Maldives in the Indian Ocean is made up of over 1,000 tiny coral islands, and its highest point is less than 8 feet above sea level. That makes it the flattest country in the world. Its beauty draws millions of tourists, but its geography makes it one of the most vulnerable places on Earth. Even a small rise in ocean levels could erase entire islands within a century. The government has already begun relocating some communities to higher ground. Fact 20: the endless forest. Most people think the Amazon is the largest forest, but the true champion is the taiga, also known as the boreal forest. It stretches across Russia, Canada, and Scandinavia, covering 17 million square kilometers, larger than the entire United States. It produces about 30% of the planet's oxygen and stores more carbon than any other ecosystem. Yet, despite its size, few people live there. It's a silent, frozen world that quietly keeps the planet alive. Fact 21: the ocean that glows in the dark. Along the shores of the Maldives and Puerto Rico, there are beaches that light up at night like glowing blue stars. The effect comes from tiny organisms called bioluminescent plankton. When waves move or footsteps touch the sand, these creatures emit bursts of blue light as a defense mechanism. On a calm night, the shoreline looks like the universe has flipped upside down, with stars shining beneath your feet instead of above. Fact 22: the waterfall illusion of Mauritius. Off the coast of Mauritius in the Indian Ocean lies what looks like a massive underwater waterfall. From above, it appears as if a river of turquoise water plunges into an abyss below the sea. But it's not a waterfall at all. It's an illusion caused by sand and silt sliding off an underwater shelf. The steep drop-off creates a visual trick that makes the ocean look like it's pouring into the depths. Fact 23: the singing dunes. In several deserts around the world, from Mongolia to California, some sand dunes can actually sing. When dry sand slides down steep slopes, the grains vibrate and produce deep humming sounds that can last for minutes. The noise can be as loud as a plane engine, depending on the size of the dune. Ancient travelers described it as the voice of the desert, but today, scientists explain it as a perfect combination of grain size, dryness, and wind speed. Fact 24: the country that operates on one time zone. Despite spanning 5 geographical time zones, China uses only one Beijing time. That means when the sun rises in the east, people in the far west may still be sleeping in total darkness, even though it's technically morning. In some cities, the sun doesn't rise until 10 in the morning. It's a unique decision that keeps the entire nation synchronized, even if nature disagrees. Fact 25. The non-rectangular flag. Nepal is the only country in the world whose national flag isn't rectangular. Its flag has two stacked triangles symbolizing the Himalayas, along with the sun and the moon that represent permanence. The shape is so mathematically precise that it's described in the country's constitution using geometric instructions rather than simple dimensions. Every other nation follows a rectangle. Nepal stands alone with a flag that breaks every rule. Fact 26. The largest living structure. Stretching more than 1,400 miles along Australia's coast, the Great Barrier Reef is the largest living structure on Earth. It's visible from space and made up of over 3,000 individual reefs and hundreds of islands. It supports thousands of species of fish, corals, and marine life. Unfortunately, rising ocean temperatures and pollution are bleaching large parts of it, threatening one of the planet's most remarkable ecosystems. Fact 27. The endless cave system. Beneath Kentucky lies Mammoth Cave, the longest known cave system in the world. Over 400 miles of passages have been mapped, and new ones are still being discovered. It's like an underground city of tunnels and chambers, carved by millions of years of water erosion. Explorers say they still don't know where it truly ends. Fact 28. The sea that isn't a sea. The Dead Sea between Israel and Jordan isn't really a sea but a lake. It's so salty that swimmers float effortlessly on its surface. The water's density is nearly 10 times that of the ocean, making it impossible to sink. It sits at the lowest land elevation on Earth, more than 1,300 feet below sea level. No fish or plants can survive there, which is why it's called dead. But the minerals from its mud are used worldwide for health and skin care. Fact 29. The country that covers 11 time zones. Russia is so large that it stretches across 11 different time zones. When people in Moscow are having breakfast, others in the Far East are already heading to bed. The country spans 2 continents and takes up more land than the entire surface of Pluto. It's the ultimate example of geographical scale, a nation so wide it experiences sunrise and sunset at the same time. Fact 30. The continent in every hemisphere. Africa is the only continent that sits in all 4 hemispheres: north, south, east, and west. The equator cuts it in half, and the prime meridian passes through its western side. It's literally the center of the Earth's map, both geographically and historically. Fact 31. The country that could disappear. The Maldives is one of the most beautiful places on Earth, but also one of the most endangered. Most of its islands sit less than 5 feet above sea level. Scientists warn that rising oceans could submerge large parts of the nation within the next century. The government has even considered buying land in other countries to relocate citizens if the islands are lost. For now, the Maldives remains a tropical paradise balanced on the edge of survival. Fact 32. The island inside a lake inside an island. In the Philippines, there's a natural formation that seems like a geographical riddle. It's called Vulcan Point, an island sitting inside a lake on another island that's inside yet another lake, which is also on an island. To put it simply, it's an island within a lake, within an island, within a lake, within an island, within a lake. This strange nesting effect was created by volcanic eruptions over thousands of years on Tol Volcano. It's one of nature's most bizarre and perfectly layered designs. Fact 33. The pyramid capital of the world. Most people think of Egypt when they hear the word pyramid, but Sudan actually has more. The ancient kingdom of Kush built over 200 small, steep-sided pyramids along the Nile. Though smaller than Egypt's monuments, they're older in many cases and far more numerous. These pyramids were built for kings and queens who ruled a vast African empire that rivaled the pharaohs to the north. Fact 34. The endless mirror desert. In Bolivia's Salar de Uyuni, when the rain stops and the water dries up, the landscape turns into a vast pattern of perfect hexagons made of crystallized salt. These shapes stretch to the horizon like tiles from another world. During the wet season, it becomes a mirror, and during the dry season, it looks like an alien mosaic. Scientists say it's the result of years of evaporation and mineral crystallization under a perfectly even climate. Fact 35. The hole that burns forever. In the small African nation of Gabon, scientists discovered an ancient natural nuclear reactor that formed nearly 2 billion years ago. It's called the reactor. Long before humans existed, uranium deposits in the ground reached a natural chain reaction and sustained nuclear fission for hundreds of thousands of years. It's proof that nature itself once built a working nuclear reactor, something no one thought was possible until it was found. Fact 36: the backward waterfalls of the Faroe Islands. In the North Atlantic, the Faroe Islands are home to waterfalls that sometimes flow upward. Strong ocean winds can blast water back into the sky, reversing the direction of the falls entirely. During fierce storms, waves collide with cliffs so powerfully that they lift water back into the air, creating a misty column that looks like gravity has been turned off. Fact 37: the disappearing lake. In Oregon, there's a lake that vanishes every year. It's called Lost Lake, and every spring its water drains into a giant lava tube, basically a hole in the ground left from ancient volcanic activity. The entire lake disappears underground, then reappears months later once the water cycle refills it. It's like a natural drain plug for the planet. Fact 38: the colored lakes of Indonesia. Mount Kelimutu in Indonesia holds 3 crater lakes, each with a different color: one turquoise, one green, and one black. Even stranger, they change colors unpredictably due to shifting volcanic gases and minerals. Locals believe the lakes are connected to the spirits of the afterlife. Scientists say it's chemistry, but the result is the same: one of the most surreal natural sights on Earth. Fact 39: the hidden world beneath Antarctica. Beneath miles of ice lies a network of lakes and rivers that flow in total darkness. Scientists have discovered more than 400 subglacial lakes sealed off from the surface for millions of years. Some of these lakes, like Lake Vostok, are as large as North America's Lake Ontario. They may contain ancient life forms that have evolved separately since the age of dinosaurs. Fact 40: the magnetic hill illusion. In New Brunswick, Canada, there's a road where cars appear to roll uphill on their own. It's not magnetism, it's an optical illusion. The surrounding landscape tilts just enough to trick the human eye. What looks like an uphill slope is actually downhill. People have tested it for decades, turning off their engines and watching their vehicles climb the hill. It's a simple trick of perspective that turns physics upside down. Fact 41: the stone forest of China. In China's Yunnan province stands the stone forest, a vast landscape of towering limestone pillars shaped by wind and water over millions of years. Some reach over 100 feet tall, looking like petrified trees frozen in place. The formations are so dense and maze-like that ancient travelers thought they were cursed. Today, it's a geological wonder showing how erosion can sculpt stone into forests. Fact 42: the underground city of Cappadocia. In central Turkey, there's an entire city carved beneath the ground. Known as Direnkuyu, it was built thousands of years ago and could shelter up to 20,000 people. The tunnels stretch hundreds of feet deep, with rooms for living, worship, and even livestock. It was used as protection during wars and invasions. When explorers rediscovered it in 1963, it revealed how entire civilizations once lived completely hidden from sight. Fact 43: the spotted lake of Canada. In British Columbia, there's a lake that turns into a polka dot pattern each summer. As the water evaporates, it leaves behind colorful mineral pools, each with different chemical compositions. The shades range from yellow to green to blue, depending on the minerals. It's sacred to the indigenous Okanagan people, who consider it a place of healing. Scientists simply call it one of the most mineral-rich lakes on Earth. Fact 44: the place where stones move themselves. In California's Death Valley, giant rocks weighing hundreds of pounds slide across the desert floor on their own, leaving long trails behind them. For decades, no one knew how it happened. In 2014, scientists finally recorded it. Thin sheets of ice form overnight, and as they melt in the morning sun, wind pushes the rocks slowly across the surface. It's rare, slow, and completely natural Earth's way of moving mountains 1 inch at a time. Fact 45: the cave that glows like a galaxy. In New Zealand's Waitomo Caves, the ceiling sparkles with thousands of blue lights. They come from tiny insects called glowworms. Each one dangles a glowing thread to catch prey, lighting up the entire cave like a night sky underground. The brighter the glow, the hungrier the worm. The effect is so mesmerizing that it looks like you're standing beneath a field of stars that's somehow below the ground. Fact 46, the giant blue hole. Off the coast of Belize, there's a circular sinkhole nearly 1,000 feet across and over 400 feet deep called the Great Blue Hole. It formed during the last ice age when rising sea levels flooded a massive cave system. From above, it looks like a dark blue eye in the middle of the ocean. Divers explore its depths to study ancient stalactites and marine life adapted to the abyss. Fact 47, the river that vanishes underground. In Slovenia, the Reka River flows normally above ground until it suddenly disappears into a massive cave system called Skakjen. It travels for miles beneath the surface before re-emerging elsewhere. The underground section is so large it forms waterfalls, rapids, and chambers taller than cathedrals. It's a reminder that not every river on Earth flows where we can see it. Fact 48, the mountain that bleeds gold. In Indonesia's Grasberg mine, one of the world's largest gold and copper deposits lies inside a single mountain. Workers have removed billions of dollars worth of metal from the rock, carving a pit so large it can be seen from space. The mine reveals just how much wealth the planet hides below the surface, but also how much it costs to extract it. Fact 49, the volcano that never sleeps. Stromboli in Italy has been erupting continuously for more than 2,000 years. It's one of the few volcanoes on Earth in constant activity. Locals call it the lighthouse of the Mediterranean because its glowing eruptions can be seen for miles at sea. For scientists, it's a perfect natural laboratory for studying volcanic behavior. Fact 50. The planet's still full of secrets. After everything we've seen, rivers that boil, deserts that once bloomed, and lakes that bleed red, one truth remains: Earth is not finished. Every mountain is still rising, every ocean is still shifting, and every continent is still moving. There are places we haven't reached and systems we don't yet understand. The more we learn, the more we realize how much is left to discover. Our planet is alive, unpredictable, and endlessly surprising. Now you've seen the proof: the fires that never die, the caves with their own weather, the islands within islands, and the places that defy gravity itself. Earth isn't quiet. It's constantly shifting, changing, and rewriting its own rules. And every discovery, every strange new place, reminds us that we've only explored a fraction of what's out there. Somewhere beneath the waves, there's another lost world waiting to be found. Somewhere deep under the ice, life that shouldn't exist is still thriving. And somewhere out in the desert, the ground might open tomorrow to reveal something no one's ever seen before. We live on a planet that's alive, and we're just guests trying to understand it. If you've made it this far, you already know. This isn't just geography. This is the story of the only world we've ever called home, and it's still full of mysteries waiting to be uncovered. So if you want to keep exploring the unbelievable, make sure you're subscribed, hit that like button, and turn on the notifications. Because this is only the beginning, and trust me, the next journey will take you even deeper into the world's strangest secrets.